Analysis, William Lawrence, Control Risks North Africa Director and Visiting Professor at George Washington University. Thank you so very much for being with us. One simple question, I suspect the answer far more complicated. Can this work?
Well, it's nice to be with you again, Mark. The short answer is yes, it can, but it's not starting off well. This is a very weak government right from the beginning, probably the weakest that we've had since the revolution. You may remember at one point the government was ruling on a ferry boat off the coast of Libya. This one's in Tunis. And so there are many obstacles and hurdles it needs to overcome. As your setup piece said, two people have already walked out. And of course, there's a lot of opposition from those that will be voting for it next week, both in Tobruk and in Tripoli.
If it doesn't work, what do you think will happen next?
To some degree, more of the same, or a sort of long, slow glide path downward in the wrong direction. Libya has been racked by 2 civil wars in the last 4 years and a lot of communal conflict. This agreement is supposed to bring to the end 1 civil war, but each side's supporters are so fragmented that to some degree those that go to negotiate at these UN-sponsored talks aren't even representing anyone but themselves in many cases. So remains to be seen to what degree more can come on board in support of the agreement, and there are a lot of sort of micro negotiations that are going to have to happen to even move this forward.
Do you feel, maybe I'm loath to say this, but do you feel in some way Libya might have been better off if Muammar Gaddafi was still in power?
No, not at all. He was a ruthless dictator. I went to Libya frequently and lived there for a while under Gaddafi, and it was, as severe a regime as you could live under, much like the Assad and Saddam Hussein regimes and the like. Many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Libyans were living in exile, and it was a miserable, miserable place to live with really no freedoms at all. However, we have a lot of chaos in Libya right now, and the Libyans have consistently failed to come together since 2011. But 85% of the militias that currently really rule the roost in Libya were in favor of the revolution. Most of them want to come together. It's interesting, some of the commentary about this agreement coming out of Libya are pointing out that this government and its agenda aren't representing the revolutionary aims of these younger fighters. So it'll be interesting to see over time if the group in Tunis starts to build in, for example, a plan to treat the wounded martyrs, they call them, of the revolution, and take care of these municipal guards, hundreds of them all over Libya, who are the ones who are really keeping micro areas in Libya stable and fighting back the Islamic State. Neither of these groups that have been negotiating have been hitting the Islamic State. It's actually other groups in Libya who are holding the line, protecting the oil facilities, etc.
And indeed, Islamic State still the issue that needs to be tackled when this government, if it does, manages to work and bring calm. William, thank you so very much indeed for joining us. William Lawrence, Control Risks North Africa Director, Visiting Professor at George Washington University. Pleasure to have you on the programme. Next, human rights